Hi everybody, Shenoah Grove here with Texas REIAs. Welcome to our Tuesday session. Excited to be here with you all, and excited to be here with a room full of real estate investors. So welcome everybody who is here in person, and then of course welcome to you guys who are online. We broadcast every single Tuesday, so in one of the different markets, Austin, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, or San Antonio. And we get together with real estate investors. We share tribal knowledge. We share some of the tips, tricks, and that tribal knowledge that we've learned through almost 2 decades of investing in real estate. So excited to have you guys all here. The first part of our session tonight, we're going to go through a little bit of a mastermind. So just want to welcome you guys all to the meeting and ask you guys to have a little fun with me as we go through the meeting, and allow me to help you if you are interested in receiving a little bit of help tonight as we go through. If you have not yet figured it out and you need some guidance, or you're working on a deal and you need somebody, I'm curious, is anybody in here right now working on a deal that they need help with? Okay, all right, fantastic. So I might pick on you, sir, to come up to the front and do a little mastermind with me, and I might be able to help you work on your deal. So would you be willing to have a little fun with me as we go through the meeting today?
Absolutely.
All right, fantastic. So I'm going to see if I can get, I'll do this. I'm going to pull up, I've got a mic right there. Will you walk up to it for me? Yeah, fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So, and everybody give Jeff a round of applause for being, okay, yeah, thank you. So Jeff, there's nothing that I love more than talking about real estate and working on people's deals, the art of the deal. So it's been my passion for almost 2 decades. I love to hear what you're working on and just see how we can be of service tonight.
For sure.
Yeah. Please, yeah.
Like therapy, I just say my problem.
Yes, yeah. And you might be able to grab the mic, and if that's, so it was set up for a man who was 6'10", and then we made it for a man who's 4'2", so you can hold the mic. So yeah, we're good, yeah, you're somewhere in between, yeah.
Cool. Is this good? Can you hear me?
Wonderful.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so we have a real estate fund. It's a 506B, so it's a limited partnership is the entity, and we're looking.
You're not gonna ask for investors here.
No,
okay,
no.
Okay, because you know the rules about asking for investors, because I don't want to go to jail for you.
Nor I.
And nor do you. So you guys know what we're talking about here? Yeah. So basically he can't come in and say, hey, I'm raising capital. Who would like to, send me their money? Yeah, I'm trying not to go to jail anytime ever. And I'm glad Jeff's on the same page with me. So keep going, Jeff.
So we just got a deal under contract, and we sent it to our lender, and they were like, oh, we can't invest in an LP, we can only do it to an LLC. So I was wondering if you know any lenders who would be able to vest and close in an LP.
Well, I'll solve your problem in a couple of different ways. So the number one answer is yes. So I might recommend Blink Lending. So if you go to blinklending.com, they have been helping me and members of the association for years and years and years. The other thing that I might recommend is just a very simple change on your contract, which is, so is it a standard truck contract?
I don't know. What does truck mean?
Truck is the Texas Real Estate Commission, so they create all of the contracts for us here in Texas.
Gotcha. No, it's out of state in Tennessee.
Out of state in Tennessee. I can't speak to that. So typically, and some of the things you're going to hear on here that we'll talk about is we're Texans teaching Texans how to invest in Texas using strategies that actually work here. So I can't necessarily speak for Tennessee, but I will say, since you're up here and I want to help, in the event that it's written not dissimilarly from the Texas Real Estate Commission contract, that is an assignable contract. And you don't have to write in the contract after the buyer's name and or assigns. It's best practice, but you don't have to do it. So if the way that you wrote that contract is your LP and or assigns, then why don't you just change it to an LLC, make your lender happy, and close like normal? So that's an option too. And to set up a new LLC, it maybe takes, without an attorney, and you doing it online, which I wouldn't say I recommend, but that is an option. Typically you'll pay the LLC filing fee, basically under $350, and then off you go to the races.
And then quit claim from the LLC?
No quit claims, no quit claims, and especially not here in Texas, because quit claim deeds don't work here in Texas. What I'm saying is, since you have not purchased it yet, correct? So right now it has the seller's name listed in the contract, and then it has your LP as the buyer's name.
Correct.
Yeah, well, you can just do an amendment and or assign it. So the amendment to the contract can just have the seller sign off to say, now instead of Jeffrey's LP buying it, it's Jeffrey's LLC buying it. Would the seller have any reason to object to that? So that's an option, right? So that's an option. The other option is to just assign it to your company at the time of closing. And here in Texas, you can do that at the time of closing, but if you wanted to really dot every single I, cross every single T, you could actually just sign an amendment right now just to say the buyer's name is changed from Jeffrey's LP to Jeffrey's LLC.
Gotcha. And you think the lender would be amenable to that?
I think so. I don't see why not. And if that doesn't satisfy the lender, then say, hey, seller, my lender's a little strict. I just had to go and find my third grade report card for him, in fact. He's asked, for someone who's gotten a loan recently, did you also have to get your third grade report card? Is that how far they investigated? The answer is yes. So you may go back to the seller and say, listen, they're really being sticklers on this. Would you mind if we just rewrote the entire contract? We're not changing a single term. We're just changing the buyer name to Jeffrey's LP to Jeffrey's LLC.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay,
you're welcome. You can hold your applause for me for solving. Jeffrey, you can hold your applause for me. one person here. So again, I'll tell you, it's so funny because the first person I talked to earlier tonight said that they were from Oregon. The second person I talked to said Tennessee, and we are like all Texas all the time. So, but if you guys have any questions about investing, it's one of the things that we love to be able to do, especially as new investors are getting started. So sometimes the solutions are easier than what we might otherwise think, right? So you could, Jeff, you could have gone through the process of finding a completely new lender, going through all of their underwriting again, or you could have just said to the seller, hey, would you mind if we just make this one little change that won't make a difference to you in terms of the amount of money that you get and or the closing date and or insert any objection or fear that they have right here. So that's one of the things that we get to solve and figure out multiple times. And I do also want to mention something that you said, and I'm going to scan the audience just so everyone who's online with us can see who all is here with us tonight. So I also want to mention, you said something about doing a quit claim deed. So, and I think that is a strategy that's taught and works probably in just about every single state except for Texas. So if you have come here from another state and you're investing in Texas, just know that a quit claim deed does not work the same way here. What does that mean? It still shows that you are in ownership, but the problem is the title company won't issue what? Won't issue what? What do we need the title company to issue for us? A title insurance, right? Because do we need title insurance ultimately for Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, et cetera, to be able to fund that transaction? The answer is yes, we do, right? So here in Texas, if you use a quit claim deed, the issue is you're not going to get title insurance. Now, they just in the last legislative session changed the law about quit claim deeds in Texas. But they didn't make it that much easier for us in terms of, like you said, I can just quit claim deed it. No, you still, if the quit claim deed was filed, and I may mess up the dates here, but if the quit claim deed was filed after September 1st, 2021, a title company can issue title insurance on it, but can only do that 4 years after that quit claim deed has been filed, and as long as it has not been objected to, right? So that's a little trick. So I know I hear a lot of people who will, whether they're, going through a divorce, right? And they're trying to save on legal fees. So sometimes one of the spouses will do a quit claim deed to one of the other spouses. Well, that's great if you want to be, if at the time that you want to resell that property, you want to get back on the phone with that ex-spouse and say, hey, how are you doing? Yeah, long time no talk. Yeah, sorry about that last time when I called you all those ugly names, but hey, would you mind just rolling over to the title company and just signing a couple documents so that I can sign the house? And what's your ex-former spouse going to say? Well, sure, is now good because I could be right over there and I would love to help you. The answer is no. It's going to be a tricky and sometimes an ugly situation for you. So please, general warranty deed, 2 pages, right? An attorney will draft it for you, usually between $200 and $500. I see one woman who's taking diligent notes here. I'm thinking she might be ready to get a divorce. I'm just saying. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So just want to make sure you guys get that right, because there are certain things, and this does bring up the point, that certain things that we do here in Texas that you can't do in other states, and certain things that you can do in other states that you cannot do in Texas. And that's one of the things that makes us so very different from any of the other investor associations that are out there. So guys, if you'll allow me, I want to just play a quick commercial just to introduce a little bit more about the Investor Association and how we can be of assistance.
Would you like to be a real estate investor in Texas? Come to one of our free local meetings to get access to free training, wholesale properties, capital, and power teams. Click on the link below to find a meeting near you and register for free.
All right, guys, so you guys are already here in person with us, but sometimes we have folks that are online with us who may not be at the live meeting. So love to have as many people here as possible. In fact, we were able to add a couple more chairs tonight as we got together. And as we go through this part of the meeting, again, I just want to welcome all of you guys who are here and in person. And I'll just ask the question, does anybody else in here have a deal that they're working on that they might need a little help unwinding, unscrambling, or figuring out? Anybody? Everyone's like, well, after Jeff came up, I don't want to go up. Who's thinking that? That's okay. Who has a question about building their business? Really? Wow, this feels like I'm on Zoom in a confessional. Thank you guys for being willing to. And part of the reason why I'm asking you is so I could take a small water break. Jeff's like, I've got more stuff that's messed up. No, I'm kidding. So that means I'm gonna take a couple of volunteers from the audience. So Corbin, you were one of the first people here. I love that I think you're taking some notes maybe as you go through. Is that right? Okay, fantastic.
Are you going to send the slides out?
Am I going to send the slides out?
Will someone send the slides out?
To you, if you go right over there to the mic. And if you tell me what brought you here, what are you looking to learn, and how we can be of assistance?
So I have a goal to buy a duplex this year.
Okay.
I'm not attached to Austin. I have some ideas, but it would be my second property, and that's I think that's the real motivation. I got an email or saw something on social media pretty soon after I wrote that goal down. So
okay, is that right?
Yeah.
I'm listening all the time. That's right. Yeah. And when my employees see me online, like our ads for Texas REIAs online, they get a little bit freaked out. So if I follow you around, just know that it's in love and it's not in stalkerish nature.
No, all good. Tito and I have the conversation a lot, so I'm sure you just heard it from my mic on my phone or something.
Yeah,
so.
Probably. I don't know how that stuff happens, but so here's what I'll say about that. So are you kind of looking to do the house hack strategy? Is that?
I don't feel like I need to. I don't want to hack anything. Like I'm just trying to grow. So I've got a house in Bastrop. Okay. I'm just looking for the second one and go from there.
Is there any reason why specifically a duplex?
No, actually.
I'll just tell you. So I'm curious. I'll ask the question. So Corbin's not specifically interested in house hacking.
I mean, I guess I could go to a 4. I do home loans, so I know that there's some rules. It's easy up to a 4-plex, I think, for.
Yes, for a non-commercial type of a loan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So
under less than 4.
Okay. Got it. So I'm curious. How many of you guys are in here to do like a house hack? Okay. A couple of you guys. So house hack I think sounds really good. I think anything that has alliteration on it just sells people immediately. It's just like how the mind works. But I see a lot of people who will say like, I want to, get a duplex. I want to live in one side and I want to have somebody else live in the other. And for me, the way that I look at real estate and the way that I look at real estate investing is, I'm not tied to any one strategy, and I'm not tied to any one asset class. So I like to think that I'm strategically agnostic, that I'm asset class agnostic. I like to think that the deal is going to tell me which direction and which strategy that I want to use. So I see a lot of times when people are getting started, and I know you already have at least some property and also in the mortgage and lending business. Is that what I'm, okay. So I see a lot of people who just get focused on one specific strategy. And the issue is that even though you might be doing marketing for that one specific strategy, what you're going to find as a real estate investor is a lot of times you're going to get a deal that does not fit that strategy. And if you don't have different strategies to be able to plug in, and if you're not able to be cognitively nimble enough to move from one strategy to another, you end up hanging up the phone with someone without being able to come to a deal, even when there's money there. And for me, that hurts me, like to my core, to my stomach, like makes me want to throw up. Does anybody have that feeling as well? Like when you know, like I could have made money off of that and I didn't because, and it's like, it's just, it's visceral for me. Like it's truly visceral. And that's something that I've actually trained a little bit as well. So I want it to be visceral to me. I want it to hurt because I want to be able to make money every single time the phone rings. That's my goal, right? That's my strategy. It's not a, you know, I got to buy this specific asset class or that specific asset class, or I've got to do, you know, the BRRRR strategy, or I've got to use the house hack strategy, or my rental properties have to follow the 1% rule. I'm not letting any of that kind of come into my mind. All that's really coming into my mind is marketing, and all that's coming into my mind is what's the best strategy for this particular situation, right? And also just coming from the framework of being curious. So a lot of times I find that when you're not, and it's not to say that you're not curious, but a lot of times when I find when people are not curious and they're not thinking through all of the different options, then they end up getting something that they may not want at the end of the day, or didn't realize that they could do more with it. So I love the idea of a duplex, but I would say as any deal comes along, you got to be asset class agnostic, you got to be strategically agnostic, because I want, when that deal comes to you, whether it's single family, you know, duplex, threeplex, fourplex, multifamily, whether it's land, I want you to be able to make money off of it. And someone who already holds some land and property out in the Bastrop area, the idea is, and I think the idea for every single one of you guys that are in here, needs to be the art of accumulation. And what I mean by that is to hold as many properties as you can for as long as you can. So Corbin, I'll ask, how long have you been in Texas or in the Bastrop or Austin area?
I've been in Austin for over 10 years. I grew up in Texas.
Okay. So, and then how long have you owned that property in Bastrop?
This will be a year. This month.
Okay. So sometimes the reason why I ask that question, I might have somebody else pop up in a moment. Does anybody have any rental property that who in here has rental property? I'm just curious, by raise of hands. Okay, a couple of you guys. So would you mind handing the mic to this gentleman right here behind you? I'm going to trade out with you guys real quick. So let me ask the question, and I can't. Andrew. Yeah, hey Andrew. How long have you owned that rental property?
I have, so I've got a duplex in Killeen.
Okay.
And I've got a single family in Coppers Cove.
Okay.
And then I've got a rental in Round Rock.
Okay, all right. So, and how long have you been investing in those different properties?
Less than a year.
Less than a year. Okay. I'm glad you're here. So I'll tell you, I'm a licensed realtor and broker in the great state of Texas. License number 0518223. Everybody got that? Don't sue me. Disclose. Sure, yes. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So here's what I've done. My husband is an engineer. Some of you guys may have noticed. Who are the engineers in the room? It's okay. How many of you guys are looking at this box right here in front of me and saying, "Oh, that's kind of interesting, right?" So my husband is an engineer, and I'm a broker. So we pulled all of the data out of the MLS and we created what we call heat maps. So it is a system that we use to be able to see where the values have been growing over the last 20 years. And Wayne Gretzky has a quote that I love. He says, "I don't skate to where the puck is, I skate to where the puck is going to be, and I get there faster than anyone else," right? So what I want you to realize and to know is where the puck is and where the puck is going. So I see a lot of people who invest in places like Killeen and places like Copper's Cove, and you know, you also said Round Rock, but I'm going to go to those really quickly. And what I see happen, and because it happened to me when I first started investing back in 2003, except in 2003, what was kind of far out at that time were places like Leander, Cedar Park, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Hutto. And some of the properties that I picked up for buy and holds were in those areas, which I would kind of call the outer loop, right? And I got something out of it that I thought that I wanted, right? So beware your adoption of anyone else's dreams other than your own, okay? Which I think is something that happens a lot, especially in the world that we live in right now. So for me, the adoption that of someone else's dreams that I made a mistake of is this concept of cash flow, right? So my guess is your properties in Killeen and Copper's Cove are probably cash flowing at $300 to $500 a month. Is that roughly accurate?
Yeah, a little bit more.
A little bit more, okay. So what I see the problem is investing in those areas is the opportunities you get cash flow. That's a win. The problem is you're investing in properties that typically don't go up in value at speed, right? So versus the properties that are in Austin, and now you got a property in Round Rock. And I'm going to go ahead and play a quick commercial. So I apologize. I'm going to come right back to you. Actually, I'm not. We'll talk later because I got a little bit of a late start, so I apologize for that. And we've got another session coming on. But the idea here is that I want you to invest in the right places. We're going to talk to you a little bit about that as we go through the meeting tonight. If we don't have time tonight, then I want to spend some time with you to talk to you about picking the right investments to build wealth long term, which I'm guessing is the reason why you guys are here in the first place. So thank you, Andrew, and thank you everyone for cooperating and doing that with us. So guys, just give me 1 second. I'm going to get the next part of the presentation going. So let's see here. All right. I'm so sorry. All right.